It's Tuesday at noon, and it's a great day to grow your business with a clear message. Now, so many people are desperate for employees. There are help wanted and now hiring signs everywhere. But even if you do get some applicants that you want to see, many managers, hiring managers, and business owners don't have an executable interview process. There's no specific onboarding process, and they don't have a set list of questions that will make sure they hire rock stars. What if you had six guaranteed questions that will identify rock stars so that you never hire a dud? And what's that end up doing? It reduces your turnover rate. It makes sure that your new employees actually succeed in the job they're applying for, and it sets you up for success. So, if you had six amazing questions that guaranteed you hired only rock stars, what difference would that make in your business? Now, they're not terribly difficult. In addition to these six questions, I'm going to give you a bonus follow up for each one that will make sure that you weed out any possible culture misfits for your team that will bog them down. So, how do we get these six critical questions? Well, first of all, we need to spend time making sure that we know what is the accurate and true job description. Who is going to succeed in that job? Once we figure out those three absolutely essential key characteristics, how do we describe the person that is going to succeed in that job? What do they need to know? What do they need to do? How do they need to interact with people? Defining those three key characteristics will give you the steps for the first three critical questions. So, what's that look like? I'll go back to my handy restaurant example. At Bob's Donuts, we know every morning deserves a great start. So, what do we define as somebody who would be an ideal candidate to work at Bob's Donuts? Well, first of all, they need to, if every morning is going to have a great start, they need to be smiling and happy. Then, well, they need to be there in the morning. So, there's another key characteristics. They need to be a morning person, they need to be smiley and happy. Well, Bob's Donuts prides themselves on the world's best coffee and donuts. So they should probably like the smell of coffee, right? Some people don't. So if you love the smell of coffee, if you can't contain your joyous smile as you serve hundreds of people every morning, that right there describes those three key characteristics. So once we've got those people to apply, how do we find out if they're the right person? You simply put those three key characteristics into a question form. What is a great question format? How about TED? Everyone's heard of a TED talk, but let's break that down. Tell me about how your morning routine is. Tell me about how you stay positive when there are many things that are capturing your attention. Just explain how your love of coffee, the smell of coffee has come about. Explain how you manage to keep a smile on your face even with difficult customers. So you just take those and then describe a time when those three things. So tell me about, explain what, and describe, inserting just the elements of your key characteristics. So then they're actually going to give you input about how they exemplify what you already know to be a successful person. If they can't do that, then you know that's probably not, well, I'm kind of a late riser. Probably not your ideal candidate, is it? So those are the first three. And again, tell me about, explain or explain how, and then describe a time or describe how. Those three elements with your key characteristics for success are going to be the first three questions. What's next? How do we get the other six? Have you thought about and described and defined exactly what that position is going to do every day? Again, at Bob's Donuts. Uh, our person keeps they're responsible for keeping the prep counters clean and spotless, sanitized. So they also have to make sure that the donut rack is always full. So what else do they need to do? They need to stay on top of hundreds of busy customers every morning. So tell me about how you clean counters at your home. Tell me about how you have an inspection process to make sure there's never any dirt. Describe the process that you would go through when you have a long line. Describe the process of what you would prioritize if there's a long line of customers, but you know the donut rack is getting low. Take these same elements once you've defined what they're actually going to do every day, and then ask those three simple frameworks. Tell me about, explain how, describe, tell, explain, describe. Get them to give you input. Don't ask, are you a morning person? That's yes and no. They're not, they're going to be able to lead you into that one. Get the details that you need to know if that's the right fit for your Rockstar candidate. Very basic example, but it works through everything. And that also gets them talking and you listening. Now, I told you I was going to give you a bonus follow up for this framework. Awe, AWE, at the end of each question, because a lot of times with any question, we're going to give you a safe answer, especially if it's somebody that you don't know. We're going to try and say what we think you want to hear. AWE is going to get you beyond that entry level. So tell me about a time that, tell me about your morning routine and what else. AWE. So these two frameworks, tell me, explain, describe, and then for each one, follow up with and what else. Get below the surface and really get them talking, really get them describing so that you know that the rock star candidate is going to succeed because they are who you want and they can do what you need. Here's a great follow-up piece. Didn't really plan to throw this in here today, but if you have the choice between the type of person who can succeed and what they know how to execute, always lean on the characteristics. You can train for skills, but the characteristics are far more tricky to ingrain. So lean towards the culture over the skill. You can always teach skill. Now, this is just the interview process of how do I attract your ideal candidate. If you are struggling for employees, if your turnover is high, if you've got a revolving door of new teammates, and it doesn't matter if this is entry level to executive, this process works for everyone. I want you to sign up to learn how and to attend the workshop to attract ideal candidates to any job. Again, from entry level to executive, this process works. It's a 2-hour workshop. Go to myclearmessage.com right now. Sign up for the workshop. Learn how to attract any ideal candidate to any job. Again, any job. And then start becoming the company people beg to work for. When you start executing these steps, you only hire rock stars. Your turnover goes way down, which means your retention goes way up. Both of those numbers have a direct impact on your profit. I want you to transform your business into a profit generating machine. And the first way to do that is by hiring rock stars. Attract ideal candidates to any job with the workshop that you can sign up for right now at myclearmessage.com. Sign up for the workshop, learn the process, and start becoming the business people beg to work for.